Hi, coaches. So here we are moving on to our next day of training. Today we're going to talk form, direct, and indirect inviting. So I'm sure by now you guys are thinking, oh my gosh, this entire diamond group has been focused on invite, invite, invite. Yes, it truly has been. Why? Because in order to build your business, in order to hit that diamond rank, your focus has to be inviting. And that means digging down real deep to the nooks and crannies of every list you can think of and inviting. So we're not focusing on the basics. This is beyond the basics. We're not focusing on what your picture should look like, the font. We're not focusing on your challenge groups because you should be running your own challenge group if you're wanting to be a diamond coach. We're not focusing on your niche and your market. Yes, your contact list and your invite list should be coming from your market, but we're not focusing on that in this training. Because if you want to be a leader and if you want to build your business and you want to be a diamond coach and above, your focus has to be on inviting 24/7. That has to be your focus. So we are just digging deep. We are creating those lists. We are figuring out different ways to invite, and we're implementing it. So today's topic is form. It's an acronym to keep the conversation moving. We'll make it really short and sweet today, and then along with direct and indirect inviting. So form, like I said, is an acronym that's going to help you keep that conversation moving. So not only a conversation with a new person or someone you're trying to build a relationship, but maybe it's a person that you've talked to in the past, someone that you've already had a relationship built with, but the conversation stalled out somewhere. You need to go back to the basics, figure out, okay, how do I move this conversation forward? And that's when we come back to forming. So you have family, occupation, recreation, and then your message, okay? So family obviously is pretty generic, pretty self-explanatory. Talk to them, maybe about what, for me, I talk to other wives about, being able to work outside of the home. I talk to a lot of farm wives. So look at it beyond just what they, do or relatable to you. Ask them about their kids. Maybe it's actually a mom whose kids are out of school. Really getting down deep and getting to know them, because that is your first step in building that conversation and building that relationship and that trust, because you care about more than just them themselves, okay? Then we move on to occupation. So what do they do for a living? Again, pretty self-explanatory. Maybe it is relatable to you and your career or to your husband's career. So again, like myself, I tend to seek out a lot of nurses, a lot of, not even just nurses. I actually have a couple of physicians that I've been talking to, a couple of female physicians, someone who's in the medical field and can relate to, the different aspects that I see on a day-to-day basis. I also reach out, like I said, to farm wives because they get me. They get the crazy hours. And that, again, is just my niche that you guys should have built as a beginning coach, in your basics, in the coach basics. You really dig deep with who you want to reach out to your niche. Recreation, what do they do for fun? Maybe they tend to go boating, they stand up paddleboard. That is stuff that I can relate to. So maybe it's something you can't relate to, but ask them questions about it. Getting them talking. Let them talk about themselves because they want to hear themselves talk. I mean, let's be real. When someone comes to you and asks you questions, you enjoy talking about your family, your occupation, what you do for fun because you're proud of it. So get them to really open up and have that conversation, okay? And then last but not least, obviously, is the message. So the message is where we are going to either directly or indirectly send that invite, okay? And all of this works for both inviting coaches and for inviting challengers. So I want you guys to implement this both ways, not with just inviting to the coaching opportunity, but also to invite to your success group, your challenge group, your fitness group, whatever you want to call it, okay? So maybe for coaching, the coaching aspect, it's inviting them to the coaching opportunity or inviting them to a coach sneak peek. If it's a challenge group or a free water challenge or a free nutrition challenge, whatever it is, that is where your message is going to go to. So let's break it down with directly and indirectly inviting. So directly is going to be pretty blunt, pretty upfront. This is what I want to say. Like a sample script would be something along the lines about, we've been chatting a lot and I got to thinking about you the other day. And this is where you insert part of your conversation. So reaching out to them, telling them you've been thinking about them, you were chatting the other day, and maybe they expressed that they lost their job or they had financial concerns or they needed something just for them because they're a stay-at-home mom and don't know how to balance being able to have something just for them. Insert part of that conversation where they can realize that, oh my gosh, yes, she listened to me. She noted my needs in that conversation, okay? So finish it out with, I know we haven't talked about this before, but have you ever considered doing what I do on the side to, again, make money, have something just for you? Insert part of that conversation into that direct message. So you're directly asking them about whether or not maybe they have thought about being a fitness coach before, or have you thought about joining my challenge group before and being able to connect with like-minded women who live busy lifestyles, who want to also feel good inside and out. That is how you directly come across and place that invite to them. Again, pretty blunt, pretty upfront, but you also have to be cautious with how you word it. So again, going back to them, telling them that, hey, I was thinking about you. I know we've chatted. You expressed some concerns, and that's where you insert either financial struggle, wanting to lose weight, needed something just for them. Insert that in that direct invite so they realize that you are here for just them. You have to make it personable, but also directly asking them, have you ever thought about doing this for whatever need it may be that is suitable for them? Then you can carry on your conversation when they come back to you about, not sure what you do, no, I've never considered it. You can throw in the coach sneak peek, whatever it may be that is suitable, again, for them. Second of all, let's talk indirect inviting. So this one is a little more, not so much like beat around the bush, so to speak, but you don't directly ask them to be a coach or be in your fitness group. So indirect inviting is asking them if they know anyone who would want to join. So do you know anyone that would want to join my fitness group, or do you know anyone that might consider coaching? And so maybe this is a person you've been talking to for a while, or a long lost friend that you've had, or someone that has told you no before. Going back to them and saying, I've always admired, our conversations and being able to keep in touch, and we have a really good relationship. Something along the lines of, hey, I'm working on my next entrepreneurial training, and I was wondering if you knew of anyone who has a passion for fitness, who is like-minded like you and I, that would want to join me. Just indirectly asking them. Now, you're probably not going to get a name from them right away. You might get something along the lines of them responding that, hey, no, I don't know of anyone. They'll leave it at that. But you've planted the seed. That's the key, is you've planted the seed in that conversation to later come back and send them a direct invite for either them or asking them, hey, did you ever find a friend or whoever to join my entrepreneurial training? Sending them in a roundabout way a direct conversation or a direct invite because you've already indirectly invited them. And then B, they might come back and say, hey, I don't know of anyone, but actually now that you mention it again, I would be more than willing to. So it really gets their wheels a turning, and it's again planting the seed, because I've said this before, if you don't plant the seed and water it, someone else is going to come along the way, you guys, and take that potential customer or that potential challenger that you have built up. And you've planted those seeds over and over. You have to follow up with these direct or indirect conversations. Again, you can use direct or indirect on both coaches and challengers. It's just a matter of being consistent and using form to keep that conversation going and being able to build that relationship and let them know that you are there for them. That this isn't about your business. This isn't about your financial income. This isn't about, some little side gig you got going on. At the end of the day, it is and it isn't. We are in this coaching opportunity to help women, to help like-minded women like ourselves. And it comes down to the invite. It comes down to the relationship where you have to form, and then you either have to send a direct or an indirect invite. And you, as a coach, are going to know who you can send those invites to. So that is our training today on forming and direct and indirect invites. Thanks for joining me, you guys. Have a good day.